How come MAGA can't wake up? And this is the question we're all asking, right? And if you're MAGA, you probably don't even really know you're asleep, but you are, because the opposite of asleep is woke. I just did a video today, earlier. Will be at the end of this one. If you want to click on it, check that one out where I explain what woke means. But why can't MAGA wake up? Well, there's three big reasons. There's probably more, but these are the three that came to me this morning when I was thinking about it. One, they live in a complete echo chamber on social media with their news, because they generally only watch Fox News or crazy ass right-wing conspiracy theorists here on YouTube or whatever, who just reinforce the number 2 point, and that is the prejudice that they learned growing up. Mainly because they didn't go anywhere, they didn't pay attention in school, or the school sucked or whatever. A lot of schools do. But they didn't pay attention. They didn't actually learn history. They didn't learn civics. They didn't learn, the liberal arts. Most of them didn't learn the scientific arts either, clearly. They failed science and math as well. So they've learned prejudices from their parents and the people around them in their, small, closed off, asleep mentality in their community. So they learn this prejudice, and the echo chamber that they get into on social media and elsewhere in the news just keeps refeeding them the same fearful bullshit. And it's all fear-based, and that's where I'm going next. The third reason they can't wake up is because they are afraid of being wrong. Now, nobody likes to be wrong. I fucking hate it. It sucks. To admit, oh, well, I had that wrong. Nobody wants to do that. Even us radical left commie snowflakes don't like to admit when we get something wrong. But the more you're able to do that, the stronger you are, and the more things you're going to learn. Because being afraid of being wrong will stop you from expanding your world and learning stuff. And when you do that, you ain't woke, you ain't awake, you're asleep. And if you do it all the time, you're essentially dead to the world, because you've closed yourself off into a little coffin almost. The fear of being wrong is based on the basic fear that everyone has. And when I say everyone, I mean it, that we're not good enough. The fear of inadequacy is what I call it. Excuse me. If we're afraid that we're not good enough, right, deep down, and we're all afraid of that, and we do whatever we can to protect this facade that we put up, that, oh, I know everything, sound like somebody in the White House, who is constantly telling us how much of a genius he is. You know what geniuses do? They don't tell you they're a genius. If someone says I'm a genius and they're not joking, if they're being serious about it, they're not a fucking genius. A real genius knows that he or she knows a lot of stuff, but then there's this whole nother universe of shit they don't know. This comes to something called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and I'm not going to go into all the science behind it, but basically, the less you know, the less you know. The less you know, the more you think you know. And that's another problem that MAGA has, is because they're so closed off to learning new shit and opening their minds, they think they know everything that they need to know. They don't. I don't. But that's the difference. I know I don't know it all. They're stuck. They're afraid of being wrong, because if you admit you're wrong, then that means you're inadequate in some way. At least your knowledge is inadequate, and they don't want to admit that. They're stuck in this idea. I know everything I need to know. No, the fuck you don't. That's the problem. So the fear of being wrong is really that, and the fear of inadequacy, as I call it in my book, is at the root of why MAGA can't wake up. They can, and some do eventually. It usually takes some kind of tragedy or, real crisis for them to go, this ain't what I voted for. Now, some of them are coming to that conclusion thanks to Elon Musk, so we can thank him, I guess. Although I don't really want to thank him for shit. He is waking up some of them to the fact, now, I didn't vote for this, but what they actually mean is, I didn't vote for this for me. I meant somebody else is supposed to suffer. Us snowflakes. Right? Which we're all gonna. Thanks to them not being awake. They're gonna try to put us all to sleep, essentially. But we ain't going there. Anyway, hope that clears up some, or helps understand why MAGA is stuck in this cult of mentality of being asleep instead of awake or woke. God forbid. You should wake up. All right, guys, fuck on. Live fearless.